What's going on, everyone? It's time for another sci-fi horror film review. Today we're going to review a movie from 2013 called The Machine. Yeah, this is a British sci-fi thriller. Yeah, it's basically iRobot meets Ex Machina or Ex Machina, or however you want to pronounce that movie. And it even has the girl who played the droid, plays the droid in this film. Or, yeah, the android thing. And, yeah, so The Machine is a film. Well, first it was released by Accelerator Entertainment sometime in 2013, and it stars Toby Stevens, Katie Lutz, and Dennis Lawson. Katie Lutz plays she's the one who does like the droid stuff, the android things. It's produced by John Gawa Amu and written and directed by Caradog James, who also did films like Don't Knock Twice, Little White Lies, The Rainbow, and Plastic Wolves. So, yeah, this is a film about. Um, so, this guy here plays. He's an android creator. So, in the beginning, he created a droid trying to look as realistic as humanly possible and trying to capture the emotions of a human and stuff. But he ends up killing that droid ends up killing an assistant, and he ends up terminating that project and starting over. So he develops this droid here on this android here on the cover, and she is basically modeled after like his like girlfriend or coworker that he really likes, whatever. They didn't really go into too much detail about who she is and stuff, but it's yeah, he models the machine after her, and yeah, and when when she becomes fully automated, she's the most realistic, emotional feeling android. But then during the final sequencing of all the data and stuff that runs her, there's a bug in the system, and she ends up becoming somewhat of a killing machine, and all that sort of goes out the window for um, like experiencing all the human emotions. Goes more on a killing spree. Yeah, this is a very slow burn movie. This is way different than I thought. So the trailer made it look like it was iRobot mixed with Ex Machina or Ex Machina, however you want to pronounce that, put together. So Ex Machina or Machina is basically a robot that ends up tormenting a visitor in a creator's house and stuff. And yeah, they take that premise and basically put the iRobot, where it's a robot killing people and has evil tendencies, which is programmed too, and mix it together to make this. But this one, they emphasize way more on human emotion, and that like the creator's daughter is like has to be fed through a tube. She has some like weird problem that she can't talk or eat or anything, and he does his best to keep her going. And yeah, and so he makes this thing, and he sort of like has compassion for it, but then she goes more on a killing spree, and it becomes more of a dire situation, which overall I thought the film was an okay film. The acting is hit and miss, and the CG is a little cheap looking nowadays. Mind you, this came out in 2013, so yeah, obviously it's gonna look a little dated. And but there's only a little bit of it that they use. But half the film looks dated though, even though it's not CG. Yeah, and they with this huge emphasis on it, they put like little snippets of action sequences in. But man, it is so standard and crappy not well choreographed, and this might just be my opinion, but it looked like all the action scenes were shot in one warehouse and they just cut it up and put it in different spots. Like everything looks the same in the action scenes. There's nothing to differentiate it or anything like that. So it made it really repetitive and dull. And I like the setting of the film. It's in the not too distant future, like 30 years from now or something. But yeah, it wasn't really like a world building type of film or anything. It was more focused on these characters, and if you're not into them like I was, it's quite a chore to get through, and I wasn't really big on it. And Yeah, with the lackluster action scenes, and it all happens at the end. And then they even have these like bad guys that don't really do anything. They just basically shoot up the place, and they don't even add uh have impact on the full story or anything. So what was the point of putting them in? It's had like a lot of flaws like that. It wasn't fully fleshed out, I thought, and it was quite the lackluster film to say the least. This film had good potential, but I'm gonna give The Machine a 2 out of 5. It was pretty disappointing, and also the makeup for Katie Lutz, who plays the robot in this. She doesn't look like a droid at all. She just looks like a person with full power makeup on her face, like a cake face. And yeah, like how are you supposed to make that look realistic? Like at least in Next Machina, which I think actually came out after this, come to think of it. But yeah, they actually made it look like a droid at least, or robotics and stuff. She actually looked like she was it. But also, I think they had a higher budget than this film. This film was just pretty disappointing, but it has some amusing merits and a good overall tone on focusing on human emotions and what we go through in the scenario at least. But uh, it just wasn't really fully fleshed out, I thought, and it was pretty dull. So yeah, like I said, I'm gonna give The Machine a 2 out of 5. There's a trailer link down below if you want to check it out, if it sounds like something you might be interested in. But yeah, this is more of a sci-fi drama film with a little bit of thriller stuff. Definitely not a horror film or anything. I got this in a horror pack too, but yeah. Anyways, yeah. So the trailer's linked down below. Also linked down below is my Instagram, where I always post clips of films I'm going to review in the future. All my stories. You have the film title in the hashtag and subgenre of film in that hashtag, so you're aware of it. And also, my Letterbox is down below. Dairy P reviews. That's where I post my first star rating right after watching the film. So follow me on those 2 platforms. Stay in loop with the channel. Like this video, share it so more people are aware of it. Comment your opinions of the film down below if you have any. And also, if you have any films or film franchises in any genre that you want to hear my opinions on in the future, comment those down below too. I'll try my hardest to get to them as soon as I can and if I can find them. By the way, this is on Shudder if you want to check it out and see for yourself if it is. Yeah. Make sure you subscribe. Hopefully we find something weird, obscure, and odd that you probably never thought of checking out together. Maybe like something like this, but it's not that great. And also, so you hear my opinions on popular films that have come out, classic films, and reviews on other things as well. And don't forget to ring that bell because I'm going to start diving into one of the bigger monster blockbuster films franchises that have come out recently. And we're going to kick it off with Kong Skull Island. It's been a while since I watched it, and I remember I loved it, so I'm kind of getting sick of watching all these thrillers, so I need a good creature feature monster movie, so we're going to do that and probably do some of the other Godzilla Kong type films for the next little bit. At least Godzilla, or Kong Skull Island, Godzilla King of the Monsters, and Godzilla vs. Kong. I'll at least do those ones in these next few reviews. So make sure you tune in for those because also Christmas is coming up soon. So we're going to have a lot of Christmas content coming too. But that's after Thanksgiving. Yes, Thanksgiving. So, but yeah. So make sure you ring that bell. Also give this video a thumbs up just for the sake of it. And yeah, watch out for all those people who might actually be killer cyborgs. And I guess I'll see you all in the next review. So until then, cheers.